Alright. Getting set up here. There we go. My stream pulled up so you can see everything. Alright. So yesterday we got this robot guy built up a little bit. Let's take a look at him. Just a little bit basic so far. He's got a little burner on the inside, some axes, a little chimney on the shoulder, a little watering can head. Let's get this directional light moved out of the way so it's not just sitting on him. Alright. Sweet. We got a couple axes for him as well, so we can cut down some trees. We'll probably create some trees today. And then we'll also make a hoe so that we can do some planting. We got just a little bit of a basic map started up. Just some hills and stuff and a little cliffside there, where we're gonna put a waterfall where you can refill the watering can on your head. Wow. That's a good bird. Alright. Let's see here. So we want to start out by modeling up a tree. So let's get Blender open. Let's see. Last thing we were working on was the map here. This is kind of a bit of a top-down view of what the area looks like. So the waterfall will be right over in this corner. Alright. Ooh, forgot to make a announcement that I was going live. 1 second. Second. Posted up. Sweet. So we're gonna go into Blender and we're gonna start a new guy. Those. Save that post into my notes so that I copy and paste. Alright. So we're gonna build a tree. So the first thing we want to start with is a cylinder, obviously. And so let's take this thing and scale it up a bit. This is gonna be our main trunk here. And so we're gonna try and keep this tree relatively straight up and then kind of curve near the top. So what I want to do with this is go into modeling and select off that top section. And we are just going to thin that down, not too much, but to about there. And then we're going to make about 5 or 6 cuts in it. Should be good. Alright, so that way we can kind of really edit it a much decent more bit. So I'm going to select some of this section up top here. Should be everything. Okay. And then I am going to curve this and turn it at an angle, kind of give us a little bit of shape there, and then move it just a little bit more that way and off the center a little bit, and rotate it just a little bit to match that off centering. I want to, right around here, just kind of expand this section out a little bit, just kind of misshape it and bring it out. And this is just going to give us some nice kind of like, I wouldn't say wood grain pattern, but it's going to give the tree a little bit more definition than just being a little basic. If you kind of look up, it'll look kind of like bark to a degree. Try and get it there. So we want this tree to look pretty good. So we're just selecting various sections to grab out. We're going to rotate this a little bit. So if you can see, we started with a basic cylinder, but we've already got quite a bit of shape. So it's starting to look a decent bit better. And I'm really just kind of guessing here, you know? It doesn't really matter exactly how it turns out, because as you move each little piece, it'll just kind of organically maneuver around a bit. I'm gonna edit the top a little bit. Just get a little more centered on it. There we go. Shout out to Tom Paul 3D, who let me know about numpad period, which saves my butt to move that a little bit to the side and a little bit out like this. Grab that section, kind of move it down, rotate it. That'll kind of warp the top a little bit. And I do not claim to be an expert in Blender, but I know a couple tricks, so. Just a tiny little rotation this way. A little bit that way. Now I just want to kind of double check and make sure nothing looks like it's kind of poorly intersecting. So if we take a look on the inside of the tree here, it's kind of what it looks like. Pretty cool. And we'll create a couple branches as well. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add more branches than we actually want. But then we're gonna set them into a little script and kind of randomize it out which one you want to use at the time, right? So then for each tree, we can kind of have a few different variations based on the branches, the rotation, and the height. It'll be fine if they're all kind of have this same basic shape, because once they're scaled around a little bit, it's gonna look a lot more variable and it just works out. I'll show you. Let's see. Move this forward a little bit. Move it to the side. And then I'm gonna grab a section right here and move it out to the side. Rotate it a little bit to morph it, and then we're gonna scale it up a bit. And I'm gonna move this to get close, but not all the way up. A little bit. And so you see how it's kind of tearing there? So that's kind of what you want to avoid. So that's why we keep kind of looking around to make sure we don't see any of that happening. So that way the shadows don't get all messed up. Grab this bottom. Alright. Starting to look pretty good. If we wanted to add, any like holes or anything like that, we can do that as well. It's not too tough. So then if we take a look at it and kind of see how our geometry is looking, and with a proper shader on that, it shouldn't look too bad. So that's not, might move. Actually, let's go back into there. I want to take this section right here, and I want to move it down and forward. And I want to select that as well. I want to take these couple, rotate them, and move them to the side. Alright, I dig that. Cool. So now let's add some branches. Do I want to become famous? I do want to become famous to a degree. I just want people to play my games. Or, I'd like to just have the ability to do really cool and unnatural things. So an interesting little trick you can use, I'm just going to show it off, but I'm not actually going to use it here, but it's one I've used in the past, is if you take your branch, rotate it, or your full trunk here, give it a rotation, and then we're going to scale it down a decent bit. And you put it in here, depending on how you do it. So like say we put this right here. It doesn't actually look too bad, and you can kind of rotate it around and just shift it around and use it a bunch of times. But I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to make a few individual branches. Trying to think what I want to do for the leaves themselves. Well, this place is going to be kind of dead, so I think this first tree is going to be kind of an old, more evil looking dead tree. So I think we're gonna start with a cube. And let's get that shrunk down a bit. Alright. And then we're kind of doing a similar deal to how we did the trunk, but this time we're doing it with a cube. So we're gonna shrink it down so that it tapers, and then I'm also gonna take this and put some cuts in it. I'll do 4. That shouldn't be bad. Get all this section, rotate it, move it and down a little bit. Okay. We can take each little section and individually scale it. It's a little easier with a cube because you only have to grab a few pieces. And rotating it. And then I'm going to see what it looks like if we rounded this off. I'll probably have it for now just stay extra straight because it'll save us on like some processing power and stuff. Okay, and then with this guy right here, I know I'm kind of grabbing in the dark there. I want to kind of take that, give it a bit of a rotation, and then I'm just going to kind of stick it in there. That in there. Take this guy, bring him just a little bit back inside, and there we go. We got a branch. Not too bad. Take a look at it. That's kind of how we're looking for our tree so far. All right. So we can take this one for now just to be lazy and get the trees placed in. And kind of give it a rotation. Scale it down. Gonna put this guy. Here. Just a little bit more into that thing, into the trunk there. Alright. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily look like the same one once you kind of morph it around, so. I'm gonna take this one, give it a little long scale, a little width, rotate it over. we're gonna put this one over here. There we go, and we'll probably add one more branch right up here, but we'll make it much smaller than this one. About right there in height. Just get that a little bit more into the tree. All right. Thinking that looks decent enough. That's it. Ooh. Just want to grab this guy. Make sure he is in the tree. Thought I already did that, but sometimes it doesn't always appear exactly the same across the board. So for now, let's save this as our dead tree. And then let's open up our game. Take a second to import that in. Alright, there we go. So we've got our dead tree. So let's place one. Oh, wow. Alright, so in terms of size, let's just align it. Oh, we want to grab the whole dead tree, and let's line it up with the player. So it's gonna be a 0, 0, 0. Put the base right there. So if you think about it, we'd be cutting down like we were standing where the tree is. We'd be cutting like right here where the stick is. Let's give it 1.5 on the scale. So now, if we do that again, tree's about that tall. I feel like that's a reasonable height. Alright. So now, and let's pop these fellers. Let's pop the map up so that we're on the ground. About right there. We're gonna stick this puppy into the ground a little bit. And let's make up a shader. So this one is gonna be a dark brown with a little bit of maroon to it. I like that right there. not much metal. We're gonna want it mostly smooth. And later we can add like a more fancy texture to it, but for now, I think this will be good. We'll make the sticks the same color for now. There we go. And if you take a look at the shadow there, it's got some creases and kind of folds in it, but I don't know, that's kind of cool. But if you take a look at it around, I think it looks pretty good. Not bad. Alright. So let's just take this and we're gonna kind of populate the area with these dead trees real quick. So I'm gonna do an orthographic view, or the top view, sorry. And I'm just gonna, this is exactly how I'm gonna do it, is take the dead tree, duplicate it, and we are just gonna be placing them around. Trying to, you know, kind of make it a little more random, so just kind of letting my mind run free. And for some of these, we'll much more specifically plan it out with, you know, things that we will want to cover up and, you know. This one I'm just gonna move up specifically already because I can see it's kind of in the ground and we just don't want to miss that. That's another thing we'll have to do is make sure that some of these can actually fit where they go and raise them up or potentially move them a little more once we've, you know. And we'll look at the scale of the lighthouse compared to the tree. And we'll kind of try and shape it around that. I like that from this view they kind of just look like tiny little sticks just sitting on the ground. So I'm trying to make it so that no tree is necessarily fully parallel with really any. Basically think of like a Sudoku. You know, you can't have that thing in the same line to a degree. But, you know, not perfectly obviously, but you know. See, we're at 18 trees. I think we should do 20 trees to start. And then we'll go maneuver them around and we can group them all up and kind of take a look. So, looks like this area is pretty bare. Alright, so now if you take a look at that, you'll see. Oh no, that's a shame. See, this is why you don't move it up or down when you're placing it. This one over here screwed us for the rest of them, because that means that all of them are no longer touching the ground at all, like the first one was. All right, so let's get this all. We're gonna want this at the top. And then let's take dead tree 1. It's good. So we're gonna look at each tree, and then we're gonna swap the Y rotation to a various value. Like we're just gonna pick a value, and then scale these up or down a couple points here or there. So let's do slightly bigger tree. And then we can move it up. Go to the next tree. Move it up just to start. Make this one slightly smaller, so just 1.4. We'll give this a 280-degree turn. There we go. Move on to dead tree number 3. Alright. So we'll make this one a large tree. Bring it up. Give it a 340-degree turn. No, we'll do 320. And this guy, we're gonna do a 1.2, a small tree. And he's gonna get 140. So you can see, like, we've got these two trees that are identical right next to each other, but a little bit of rotation, they at least look a little bit different, you know? Good enough. And we'll upgrade these trees over time. But it's just more important to have them placed, at least, so we have something to work with. Just slightly bigger. Do it 1.6, not 13. And we'll do, let's see, 200 for the rotation. You just want to make sure that it's going into the ground on all sides so it doesn't look, you know, wonky. This tree, let's see, what did I make that one? This is a 1.6. So I'm going to make this on our first 2 tree. We'll do a 2.1 actually. It's a little bigger. Okay. And then, let's see, 85 for the rotation. Alright. Tree number 7. I know there's definitely a button to go view the tree, but it's just kind of a little more fun to scroll over there. Alright. give this a big tree on the bottom of the hill. So we'll do a 1.8. And then I think I want this to point up towards the hill. So I'm just going to rotate it until... Yeah, I like that. And make sure it goes in on all sides. Looks good. On to tree number 8. I think I want to put this tree up on this hill. Which is great. This is the one I moved up. And this one is going to be a small boy. Or giant boy, I guess. We'll rotate it until it's facing that way. Oh, you know what might be kind of cool? And be a little tough to set up, but I could do it based off of this right here. I could set it up to have a path of trees help you solve a puzzle. So if you follow where the treetops lead, point off to each thing. That'd be kind of cool. I'm not gonna do that right now, but I'm gonna table that with like this tree. So dead tree. I'm gonna. Well, I'll rename the trees later with more specific instructions, especially because some of them will be treasure trees and whatnot. So let's look at this hill here. So I think we're gonna want to come down and be right up against the hill. And this one we're gonna make do a 1.6 tree. It's just slightly bigger than we are right now. And I just want to rotate that guy that way. Nice. Dead tree 10. Get you put in the ground. And now, if we're looking at the size of our default tree, right? So we looked at the size of one character earlier. And we look at the size of this windmill. 2-ish. The windmill is like 4 trees tall. I think that might be a little big. So I think we might scale down the map itself. Not the map, the windmill on the map. And we want this one to be over yonder a little bit. We'll give you a big tree. Biggest tree so far. And rotate. I'm gonna point it away from the windmill. All right, 11. Where you at? There you go, close by. Okay. Ooh, not that way. Okay. On to tree number 12. Where are you, friend? Okay. Let's pop you into the ground. I'm hip. Let's see. 40. Give it the old 40 shorty. Oh, interesting. Let's see here. In terms of size, I think we want a big boy right here. Actually, let's make this the biggest tree. Yeah, let's make this the biggest tree. Why not? Alright. Let's give her a 3. Let's give her a 3. Let's give her a 3. Interesting. Getting a cellular device call. Hello? What? A pre-authorized purchase of an Apple MacBook Pro. I just won the lottery. Hot dog. Alright. So we got 3s on the board. Let's give you a 300 to represent your 3 victory. Nice. I love this floating shadow. It's nice. Ooh, and we get to work on it now. Great. Alright, you're right next to this big boy. So, I'm gonna give you a little bit more to work with. Oh. Alright, Flats. I think you're a bully, Flats. Yeah, it works. See, and for spawning trees, I can, pick various locations, or I can just have it automatically. Oh, which one was that? Was that 13, 14? Yeah. I can, randomize a couple of those values and get them placed about nice. So, and you want to cut down these dead trees anyways, for a little bit of wood and to get rid of them too. Make this a little tiny boy. On to 16. Just a few more trees left. Do a 2.2 tree. Whoa. Got wood. This one away that way. Look at Mr. 17 here. Only a couple more floaters. Seven. $330. All right. Where is Senor 18? Oh, he's hiding. Put him just right here, so when the sun starts coming down, nice little shadow. Alright. We'll make this one pretty big. So we'll do 2.5. And we're gonna point it away from the cleave. Like that. 19. I blow the wind of God. So I can assign each one of these trees a different like wood value as well. So I can give each tree a little script that kind of manages the wood intake and whatnot. Point it a little bit that way. And number 20, where are ya? Final tree. Final floater. So then we'll just have to remember, if we edit the map, we just have to go take the trees and kind of move them up or down a little bit, or around. We kind of put some obstacles in there. I feel like my Sudoku is a bit off here. Better. Alright. We'll do this guy. This is a bit of a tall boy. Cool. So I have no idea where our camera is, but sometimes it's fun to just play and see what it shows us. You never know. Our camera could be in the ground right now. It's not gonna move. The camera is facing our player. Good to know. Well, very intimidating. And if we take a look around, we've got an animated little windmill over there. We'll probably shrink that windmill down, which will cause a minor issue with the animation, but that's fine. Alright. Got all our trees out. It looks pretty good. Alrighty. So next we want to add like a little stone hut, essentially. So we'll probably do it on the map here. Or no, we'll build the hut in its own separate little thing. But real quick, I want to go in and I want to shrink that lighthouse. Windmill down just a smidge, because I think it's just a little too tall. So I'm going to open up Blender. That was our tree we made. And open recent, going to the map. Cool. And we're just gonna take this whole thing. And we're gonna shrink it and move it down. And I have a feeling, yeah. So for these keyframes, we just have to set them right. Oh, I'm not on the main frame. Gotta love it. That perfectly centered. Okay, that is not the intended result, I will admit. But it's kind of funny. Goodbye. So we're gonna delete that keyframe out. We actually want this to be a little farther forward too. So we'll insert that keyframe location and rotation. And now we'll give them 360 degrees. And we'll move our keyframe, or our current frame, so that the changes actually apply. So keyframe location and rotation. Let's save that. We should probably just make sure the animation works. Okay. Should shrink down. Okay. So now, if we take a look. Ah. Windmill is now the size of a tree. It's a little too small. But I'm gonna. Yeah, let's fix that back up real quick. Just a little bit more on the size. I think I want to just kind of. Yeah, no. I should make the whole thing bigger. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna delete out this keyframe. Watch me make this bigger than it was before. Which is a total possibility. Okay. Why do I do that every time? That would be a great question. Okay. I think that is better. Maybe. I don't know. I feel better about that, though. Alright. So let's make a little stone hut. This is going to be kind of where we wake up. I think I want to have it be over in this corner. Going to kind of cave into this area. So I'm going to cover over this top as well. So I'll probably put a stone area there. So let's get back into Blender. And we're going to open a new guy. Delete the camera and the light. And let's start with a cube. I'm probably going to have it be kind of down into the ground as well. So we'll cut a hole in our main map piece to place this in, kind of. So I'm going to duplicate this, move it up. Move this here. And then for this guy, bring it in this way. Over here.
I'm so bored. I guess I'll go shopping or something.
Just adding some rooms right now, or not rooms per se, but space that I can add areas to. I just want to make sure you grab everything. This will be kind of our starting area. So if we take a look on the inside here, and I'll cut this out with a hole, but put some walls in there and then a stairwell into this guy. But if we take this and just duplicate it, keep it in the same spot, and shrink it down just a little bit, cut out. Use a Boolean, take the most recent cube, and then if you were to go on the inside, we'll do really fast. It's gonna look a little crappy right now, but it'll work out a little bit better later. And then we're gonna want to take this guy and do a similar type deal, except for this one. We just want to shrink it down a little bit and then inwards. But we want it to be a little longer because we want it to go out the front so we have a door, right? Because this is kind of just like a cave entrance, right? Take this, move this over here. And if you take a look at this, what have I done? Oh, you're cube 1. What a surprise. I don't know why this Boolean was here. And if we turn cube 1 off, you'll see we kind of have a hallway in there. And we can put a doorway and stuff over this just to kind of spruce it up a little bit. And I think I'm actually going to take that cube. Or I'm going to go into modeling just so it's a little easier. This guy. I can bring this over here to kind of fit the walls a little better. Bring this one over here. But then through the back, I do want to keep the wall because it's going to go down into a stairwell. So then if we take a look at it from the front, now you can see it's got a hole in there, but it goes to the wall. Alright, so let's cut down into the box and get into our second room there so we can see inside there as well. Stairwell over here. Okay. And we'll probably have this go bring it a little closer. Make it taller. Doesn't matter exactly how tall it is. Just needs to make sure we cut through the box itself, because we're going to use a different one to cut out the next stairwell. So then we'll take this guy, add a boolean with cube 4, turn off cube 4. So now you can see we've got a cut down there. So I'm gonna take cube 4, or actually first, I'm gonna move this up so it's touching. Alright, so this is the roof of cube 2. Or the roof of, sorry. Oh, I should have moved cube 2 with that. So we'll just move that up a little bit. That's fine. Get that turned off. Oh, now the walls are smooth so you can kind of see what it looks like. So if we take cube 4 and then we duplicate it and move it down, go into modeling, add a boolean, cube 5, turn off cube 5 and cube 4. So now you can see we have a little hole down to get into this area. So we can put a stairwell right here. And the edges work out. It's always best to use a separate object instead of cutting out with the same one. I don't know why. I just don't know how it works. Not my job. Alright. So cool. So real quick, I'm gonna save this as our cave, because that way we can see it in our game and kind of place it in an area. And then we can start, as we edited it, we'll be able to see what it looks like changed up. Let's pull out our 3D models. Back into Unity real quick. Here's our 3D model we just built up. We want to rotate that guy around. And we're going to pop this over here. So remember that we were going to put most of it underground. So
now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Basically like that is kind of how I'd like to do it. So I can cut out an area, but you'll see kind of our issue right now. So whenever we make a new thing, we always have to go in and kind of cut out or get rid of our cutout pieces. But then, now you can see the wall here goes into that piece. So we'll just have to make an area in the cliff for this to go in. So we'll get rid of these, cube 4 and cube 5. And cube 2. Yeah, I think we're on 2. And then again, you can see our second issue is the room itself is in the grass, which is not very conducive, but it's in the game now. And let's just give it a bit of a gray rock shader, but we're gonna make this one smooth instead of shiny like the other ones. A bit of a darker gray. A little bit of metal, but not much, and then make it pretty smooth. We'll just rename this as rock. that the color and this guy right here. And then let's take it and move it down. And we can see it's kind of at this point right in the corner here. So that's where we know to make a cutout in our map where there will be area for this. So that'll be fine. Alright, cool. And then let's go on the inside here. And we're gonna add a cube. And this is just gonna be our starting kind of area where you can keep a few things. So you just kind of want to match that angle. Not bad. Let's see. A little bit more this way. Well, I think I'm gonna take a break for a bit. Gotta go do some lunch. So I will be back in a little while. Thanks for watching and have a good day.